Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. My name is Chris Atkins, and this is the Secrets of the Dressing Cupboard podcast, a podcast focusing on the lighter side of live entertainment. Today, I have yet again emerged from my own cupboard under the stairs, and am currently recording yet again on location in the sleepy northeast village of Hordern, in the residence of my good friend Mr Mark Sylvester, who has graciously donated his front room for me to record in. Joining us for tea and biscuits today is a truly remarkable act, the legendary Mr Jim Clarke. So legendary, in fact, that the band Jim founded has its own brick in the Cavern Club wall. First of all, thank you so much for agreeing to talk to me today, Jim. It's a real privilege.
Yeah, it is. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, that's lovely. I've had a good scout on your personal website, which is jim-clarke-country-music.co.uk.
Yep.
And I've pulled some information from your biography page. It does make some fascinating reading. So, before we begin with the questions proper, Jim, I'd like to ask a little bit about yourself. So, Jim, where were you born?
Liverpool.
Oh, excellent stuff indeed. So you started performing in Liverpool as well. I've got this down as 1956, is that right?
Yeah, but I've actually been singing since I was 7.
7? Well,
yeah.
Well, I assumed you started in 1956 at 7, is that right? So,
could be.
Yeah,
could
excellent.
be, yeah.
Oh, wonderful stuff indeed. So, I just like, obviously, this was like the heyday of music back then. What was it like performing on the circuit back in 1956 in Liverpool, of course?
Well, in those days, people just sit there, listen to every word you sang, and you always got marvellous applause. Great time. And everything was new. Yeah. Especially in Liverpool, country music was more popular than any form of music.
Is that right?
Yeah. I first started when I was 7. I used to sing in a house. And because I was a bit shy, I used to stand behind a curtain.
Right.
And sing, and all the family, because they could hear me sing, but they couldn't see me. But anybody outside walking down the street could see this little lad singing his heart out. Yeah, and that's how it started. And I used to be a big fan of a fellow called Sugar Child Robinson.
Right.
Who was I think he was about 7 at the time when he first came on the scene. Was a young black pianist, boogie woogie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he was absolutely fantastic. And I thought to myself, wow, these kids are actually doing this. Because I thought this sound you used to listen coming out the radio was something that what people weren't actually doing. Because you're a kid, you don't realise this. People are doing this. And then when Sugar Child Robinson came on the scene, and my brother told me all about it, and I thought, well, kids can do this. I wonder if I can do this. And that's where my first love of wanting to say that's where it started.
So boogie woogie.
Yeah, and I used to because we never had the piano, and I used to imagine the table as a piano, and I used to sing what was that? Numbers boogie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 was Sugar Child Robinson, and pretend I'm playing the piano at the same time.
Fantastic.
So he inspired me to want to be a singer, and that's how it all started.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then of course, when I was 15, 16, in those days, I think every street in Liverpool had a band. Skiffle in those days, you know.
Right.
And I used to make my own. We used to make our own bass out of a tea chest and a brush pole.
A bit of string.
Yeah, and a bit of string.
Yeah.
But at that time, I started working in Camel Herds. And I thought, well, we can do better than that. So I actually got an old oil drum. Because I thought it'd be a better sound than it was. So you stick the pole down into the oil drum, and the sound was amazing. So that's what we used to do, yeah. That's what we started.
Wow, that's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
So you've always been musical.
Yeah. Well, when I was at school, I studied trombone. I played trombone, clarinet. Of course, I'm playing the old recorders, and we're in a recorder orchestra. We used to do all the music festivals across throughout Lancashire, and I was always been musical. Loved it.
That's brilliant.
And I'm still doing it now. And I'm still a young boy.
Yeah, well, I was about to say that, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's brilliant. So Tell me about your first professional band. So when obviously you had lots of little scratch bands when you were growing up and
Yes,
stuff.
yeah.
And when did you actually start gigging in the
The
venues?
proper gigs, I would say, was with was Kenny McGonagall, who used to work with Charlie Lanza for 9 years as a duo.
Right.
And Kenny and I got together, and some of Kenny's friends, and we went out as the Strollers. And then eventually come, because I was the singer, we called ourselves JC and the Strollers.
I see.
Yeah. And then the other singer left, the bass player left. And I thought, well, rather than getting somebody else in, I thought, well, I'll buy a bass guitar. And I learned to play bass, which was difficult, because trying to sing and play bass at the same time was awkward. So that's why we ended up as a 4-piece, as used to be a 5-piece.
Yeah.
And that's what we did, you know.
Fantastic stuff. Right, so we were just up to, you were talking about, would you mind just talking about the JC and the Strollers again, briefly?
Yeah, they were the first actual gigging working band. Because, you know, we just worked around the local area, around Liverpool.
Yeah.
And it was like guitar, drums, bass, rhythm, and I was the singer.
Yeah. Is this the band you used public transport to get to the gigs with?
Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, we used to get I always remember them the 86 bus.
Yeah, with drums.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
drums used to go under the you know, when you get in the bus under the stairs.
Yeah.
And amplifiers. Of course, I think we only had one amplifier.
Yeah.
And the mics used to go through the guitars. You know, that's how we used to do it. You know.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
They don't like you taking Brahms on now. Can you imagine?
Oh no, amazing when you think. And we used to go, and then we'd get off outside. We always used to stop outside the Oddford Club. That's called the ODVA, the Oddford Club. And we used to take all the stuff out, straight into the club, and rehearse there all afternoon.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So did the buses run all night? I mean, how did you get home, or did you just leave the gear in and
No,
and
no,
roll home?
no. In those days, the bus used to run about. Because don't get, we were only rehearsing then at that
see.
time. So we'd get maybe the 5 o'clock bus back home again.
Yeah, and you weren't drinking as well while you were...
Oh, no.
No.
Well, I wasn't driving the bus, so it made no difference.
That's a true story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's great stuff. Now, obviously, then the first band you started having success with, if I'm correct, was the Dimensions. Is
Oh,
that
the
right?
Dimension, yeah, the Dimension. That was we had a girl singer, Irene, Tiffany, her name was, and she used to be in it. Funny enough, as the talking, there's a musical just starting in Liverpool, and it's about the Liver Birds, which is the first all-girl rock band in the world. And there's only 2 of them left alive now.
Is that right? All right.
Yeah, one of them lives up in Scotland, I believe, up in Glasgow, and they come down. And there's a musical. They've obviously got actresses in, to play the part of the girls in this musical. And it's called, I believe it's called Girls Don't Play Guitars. Because one of the girls who went with the Beatles, and she said, and John Lennon said, "Who are you?" Oh, so we've got a rock band. And John Lennon turned around and said, "Well, girls don't play guitars." So that's what the musical's called.
Well, I mean, what does John Lennon know about music?
Of course, I know.
I mean, actually, you've got a connection to the Beatles, haven't you?
Yes, I did. I worked with it quite a few times, you know, but I worked with him one time at the Majestic Ballroom in Birkenhead, I think it was 1965. And it used to be an old theatre, you know, years and years before that, so we used to get chains up in the gods, you know.
Right.
And we were all upstairs there, and the Beatles came in, and Paul McCartney asked, did anyone have half a crown to get some cigarettes out the machine? Because I don't know if you can remember the old wooden machines where you used to put your money in and you stick it, and you pull your cigarettes out the drawer.
Vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, at the bottom. And he said, "I'll give it to you when I come upstairs," because they were going on stage, and they never got it back of him.
No.
And I always remember stuck out that night because John Lennon was a huge Gene Vincent fan. And Gene Vincent was at the, I think it was the Odeon Theatre, which was across from the Majestic Ballroom. And he was touring with, what's the girls with the husky? Brenda Lee.
Right.
There's Brenda Lee and his name's gone from my mind now.
That's all right.
Gene Vincent, right? And they were doing a tour. And they had a brisk, in those days, the union, they had to use the bands over here. And there used to be a band called, I think they called, was it the Flea Records, I think they call themselves? And they came over and they were backing them on the tour. And John Lennon was a big fan. And I remember him saying, I'm going to try and get it, before we go on, he said, I'm going to go across to the Odeon and see if we can get in. And he did get in. And he managed to catch Gene Vincent, you know.
Oh, fantastic.
Because he wasn't too bothered about Brindley, but he loved Gene Vincent. And then he came over and we said, what? Oh, he said, he's brilliant. And they went on.
So, basically, if you were wandering around that, if you're wandering around that night, you could have staggered into one venue and seen Gene Vincent.
Yes, yep.
Then staggered out and seen the Beatles.
The Beatles, yeah.
And you.
And others.
As well, yeah.
Yeah.
Was that when you were the Dimensions, or when you were still with Tiffany and Dimensions?
No, that was just the Dimensions. It was later.
Yeah.
When.
Yeah, we jumped ahead there. Sorry about that, Jim.
It was later when Irene was Tiffany. She joined us. 'Cause I said she used to be with the Liverbirds.
Yeah.
And she joined us, and we went down. George Martin was interested because our manager at that time, Jeff, started going out with Irene.
I see.
Right? And he got in touch and said, I've got this girl singing, you know, blah, blah, blah. So George Martin said, well, come down. And he said, we're not musicians. So we said, well, she just joined the band, which was us, of course.
Yeah.
So we went down Abbey Road Studios just to back Irene. But once George Martin heard us, he said to us, have you got any original songs, which we did have? A friend of ours called Alan Crowley, great, he's dead now, God bless him. He was a great singer-songwriter, you know, he wrote the song, You Don't Have to Whisper. And we did that. We just did it live, you know, with no rehearsal. We just stood there, your amplifier behind you, and just played it like you would on stage.
Yeah.
Went through the song, did one take, straight through.
One take.
Yeah, one take.
Amazing.
One take straight through. They've come off, and George Martin said, yeah, I like that. He said, you haven't got any other stuff. I said, we haven't got another original song, but we can do, and we did that, the slow ballad.
Yeah, Tears on My Pillow.
Tears on My Pillow.
Yeah.
So we did that. Once again, one take, straight through, and that was it.
Amazing.
And while we were waiting, our manager was talking to George Martin. We had a little walk around Abbey Road Studios.
Yeah.
And I heard this music, and I thought, that sounds nice. And it was Burt Bacharach. Burt Bacharach was rehearsing a full orchestra, and he had, do you remember the Burnings Girls?
No, I can't.
And they're doing a song, Trains, Boats and Planes. Trains and Boats and Planes. Great song.
Yeah.
And George Martin said, if you want, you can go in, because they're not recording. And we're in there, watching this full orchestra, Burt Bacharach, and these the Vernon's girls singing. This song is amazing.
So you've just wandered into Abbey Road, now you're hanging out with Burt
We're hanging
Bacharach.
out with Burt Bacharach, my mate. Yeah.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we jumped ahead there.
Yes.
That's cool. So I was just going to talk about, so did you actually record your single at Abbey Road, or?
Yeah, Abbey Road, yeah.
Yeah.
We did it in Abbey Road, yeah.
That's
As I said,
amazing.
it was just one take.
One take, yeah.
Yeah. And then when we came home,
Couldn't do that now.
Yeah. When we got back home, Jeff said, well, he said, I've got to ring in tomorrow. And he did. And he rang us back the following day. He said, they're releasing your record.
In one day, they
Yeah.
decided.
And we said, we only did one take. No, I said, they're over the moon, so they released this. And it ended up, if anyone can remember radio, it was Radio Caroline's pick of the week.
The pirate radio station, yeah?
That was the main pop station in those days, you know.
Wow.
And the record of the week, so it was played, every DJ played it. Just played all the way through.
That's amazing.
So we're quite tough.
One take record.
Yeah.
And I did actually, I did find a copy of Tears My Pillow on YouTube, which I'm going to splice into the podcast now for anyone who's listening. Just a small snippet with that, obviously, if that's okay.
Yeah.
And just so people can hear that. So, well, we're back from that.
Yes, yeah.
That was like the magic of broadcasting there.
Yeah.
Did you like that? So after I take it there wasn't a massive amount of success from was it? How did that single do? Tears My Pillow.
I remember, I'm trying to think back now. I believe, well, it was number one in London. Put it that way.
Oh well,
you know, on the
so good
the
success.
chart. Yeah, it was number one in London, but I think it got into the. I think it got into the 40s.
Well, that's not bad, is it?
If I remember rightly, yeah. Yeah.
Very, very good indeed.
Yeah.
Well, better than I've done so far, anyway. Yeah.
I had hair then, of course. You know, I had hair.
Do you think that makes the difference?
It does, yeah.
Maybe that's why Tom Jones has done so well. What do you think? You know,
Because because if you look good, it doesn't make any difference if you don't sound good.
well, explain Mick Jagger.
Explain. Not really.
If he's listening, apologies, Mick.
Yeah, Mick. Yeah, I know. Yes.
Yeah, but we're going to move away from the current state of modern music, if you don't mind there, please, Mr. Sylvester, bringing in Susan Boyle.
Yeah.
And here she is, and through the door, straight into the studio. There you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's come to lap dance your mug. So anyway, I might have to cut that out. Right, moving on. So after the Dimensions, you decided to go out as a duo, is that right?
Yeah, well, I went out as a solo act on my own for a while, yeah.
Yeah. And that was on the working men's club circuit, was it?
Well, then it was the nightclubs. I did it was just nightclubs then. I didn't do many working clubs in those days. It was all your nightclubs, because every town had a nightclub.
Yeah.
Even Peterlee.
Peterlee had a nightclub?
Yeah, the Senate, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I want to ask about that, because obviously born and raised in Liverpool, and how long have you been in the North East, Jim?
I came up here about 1972.
I see.
We were working up here, that's where I met the wife. She was working in a nightclub, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of what happened to me.
Yeah, and she saw me, she thought, I'm having him.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's not what happened to me.
Yeah, so I let her have me.
Oh, okay. You're such a gentleman.
And she's had me. She's had me ever since.
Oh, well, you know.
Yeah.
It's the story of. It's almost like Romeo and Juliet, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great stuff indeed. So, and so you're solo doing the nightclub circuit.
Yeah.
What sort of time was this?
What time? That would be
8 o'clock. No, I mean decade-wise.
What time? Time at night time or time or year?
Probably a year, I think, would be more useful.
Yeah, I would say that would be. Let me think. That would be 70.
Yeah, and then
About 1970, 71.
Yeah,
possibly. Yeah.
Oh, excellent stuff. So, obviously, nightclubs and the workmen's club circuit was a sort of a big thing then.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've got a bit of interest in how the workmen's club circuit was back in the day, because obviously I still work in them now, as do you.
Yes, yeah.
And we've seen a small decline in in audience turnout. So in the 70s, could you explain sort of like what would happen on a basic gig? So you'd arrive at the nightclub, say 10 o'clock? Is it a late one or?
Well, no, what you do, because it was always like a week. So you'd start on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And then you'd work every night till a Saturday. But on the Sunday, you had to have a proper band rehearsal. It was a full dress rehearsal. So you had to be with your stage gear on and rehearse your show on the afternoon. If you didn't get there for the rehearsal, you didn't do the week.
Fantastic. So you turn up with your dots then, yeah?
You turn up with your dots, yeah. Go for and rehearse all the stuff, and then you'd be out on the night, and then be there every night of the week, you know.
Yeah, and so, that's amazing. So you'd go. So back then, you'd go into a nightclub, and there'd be a house band.
Oh yeah,
with an act.
Yeah, and of course you use all the nightclubs had really top-notch PAs, you know. So.
And what sort of material would you have been doing back then? Sort of chart stuff, or?
Well, no. Well, I was doing a lot of Bee Gees because I had a high voice at the time. So a lot of Neil Sedaka.
Yeah.
And I used to do the odd Slim Whitman.
Oh, lovely stuff.
Slim Whitman song, yeah.
Yodeling and all that.
Yeah. I'd put that in, you know.
Can you still yodel? Is that a bit harsh thing to drop on you?
No, the yodeling's got a bit now.
That's all right. I mean, I wasn't expecting you to. That seemed a bit mean to drop that on you there.
Yeah, aye.
Unprepared, Jim. Start yodeling, please. 1, 2, 3.
Yodeling!
Oh, that was a great attempt, though. Great stuff indeed. So after you did the solo circuit for quite a while, what did you then go into?
Well, I met. I was already with a wife then.
Yeah.
And then we decided to go try as a duo.
You and the wife, yeah?
Yeah, the two of us, yeah. And we went out as James and Dodie White.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Because I was going under the name of James Black then.
Yeah.
That's when I was out doing South Africa and all that, you know. Because I went out there first. That was it was a 76, and I was there for 3 months.
Fantastic.
I had a fantastic 3 months there, and then
So it's the same sort of setup in South Africa, nightclubs and
nightclubs,
bands.
yeah. And then I went back the following year. But the amazing thing at that time in South Africa, when I first went 76, there was no television. So everybody had to go out and watch live entertainment. But the amazing thing was, every house had a wall painted white. And on every corner there was shops hiring out what was then, reel-to-reel
I see, yeah.
projectors.
Yeah.
And they'd order stuff over from the UK or America. And for instance, like where it was the European Cup, the FA Cup final, they would order it so you could watch the FA Cup final, but on this projector. It used to cost, I think, £5. Primitive was all in rand then. And you could sit there watching the wall and watching the cup final that was played the year before, the week before in the UK.
Fantastic.
And that's how you watched all your movies. You get any movie you want was all onto reel to reel. And then when I went out the following year, they'd introduced TV into the country, but it only ran, I think it was for an hour or 2 hours. I can't remember. It used to be on from 7 o'clock, I think, till 9 o'clock. And the big thing was a program called World at War.
Right.
Can you remember that? I remember that one, the World at War. It's a great series.
No, I can't remember the World at War.
World at War. It was all filmed of the war and different, the First World War, the Second World War, and everybody just wanted to watch it, and that's what it was. And so then that started to affect the clubs.
I see. So you find that the clubs would be empty at that time because people were home watching.
All sitting, looking at the wall. Well, then they had TVs then.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. It was amazing. It was an amazing scene at the time.
Oh, so that was reel to reel and TV were
Reel-to-reel,
destroying clubs then, as opposed to bingo destroying clubs now.
That's right, yeah.
Anyway, okay, I better move on before. And so while you were in South Africa, you came back to the UK after a run there, and then you continued in the duo, was it? When you came back?
I was still a solo then.
Oh right, I see.
Yeah, I was still a solo then, and then I did so well. They asked me back the following year, which was 77.
Yeah, and isn't that the time period when you were offered the lead role in Joseph?
Yeah, that's when I got back. That when I went back in 77.
I see.
I was doing the what's the club? The club in Cape Town. I can't remember the actual club now. This nightclub anyway, and of course you used to get all the film stars and actors and whatever who were working around the area. Used to come into the nightclub, so you got to know people. And some of the producers from Joseph had come in, and the guy who was doing Joseph over on the South African tour had taken ill or something, and he was having to pull out. So they were looking for somebody to take his place. So they seen me, and then they offered me to do it. So of course, well, after me, my manager back home in the UK, because I was booked.
Well, of course, yeah.
Months and months, well, yeah. And he turned around and said, we can't do it. Because I've got that to pull so much work out, I couldn't do it,
Yeah.
Which is a shame, because I would love to have done it,
Oh, excellent stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff indeed. So, when you came back to the UK, what did you do then?
When I come back from the UK, I went round, did obviously got into Solak for a while, and then I did that maybe up to about I would say, because I worked. Sorry, in 70, and going back to 74, I worked in Gibraltar. I don't know then what it means to Gibraltar, but you got you got St Michael's Cave.
Right.
which was the tourist attraction, and used to hold shows and there. And what was happening? They were holding the Miss Gibraltar competition, and the winner was whoever won would be entered into the Miss World competition. So they wanted people to. I was invited to go over, and
to judge the competition, not to be in it.
No, to perform.
Oh right.
Yeah. I wasn't one of the.
I was going to say
competition. But I had the legs, but I didn't have the looks.
Fair play.
Yeah.
So you were performing as part
So
of the
I
show.
performed it, yeah. And I remember the program Lift Off, TV program every 5 o'clock every night, and I can't remember her name now, the singer, but she was on, and I was over there, and we there for the week.
Yeah.
And we worked with a full orchestra.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Which was marvellous. And when I got there, they said, have you got your parts? And of course, all I had was piano, bass and drums.
Yeah.
So
did they bust the rest, the whole orchestra?
Full orchestra. So they said, well, give us a few days. And they wrote the whole, for a 32-piece orchestra, all the parts out. And they brought a string section over from Britain to perform with them.
Fantastic.
And we did our rehearsal, which was amazing.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And then we did the which was televised, but only in Gibraltar itself. Yeah. So I wasn't, because I tried to get a video, but you couldn't get videos in those days.
Yeah, Jim Clarke, famous in Gibraltar in South Africa.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
But it was good. It's good. I thoroughly enjoyed it,
Lovely stuff.
And then from that I came back, and then my missus, because we were going out with us at the time, and I said, well, you fancy, because I'd hear her do a little bit of singing, and I was trying to give us tuition, and I said, well, I'll teach you to harmonise. So she used to harmonise, and I was obviously the main lead vocals, and that's what we did. And we went to different parts in Europe, working, and it's excellent, great. That's what happened.
That's fantastic.
So after about 10 years of doing that, you got sick of it.
Yeah.
Or you said you can do it on your own.
Yeah, fair play.
Yeah.
As wives often say.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
Do it on your own.
Yeah.
Don't look at me like that, Mark. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Our silent partner, of course, we do have the wonderful Mark Sylvester in the room with us.
Mark,
He's on best best behaviour, after last time's performance. Good stuff indeed. And so that pretty much brings us. So you've continued to do the circuit up until present day, is that right?
Yeah. And then I thought I'll go back to my roots. Cause my reading roots, I love country music, And I didn't realise until one night I worked with a duo. And they said, and I said, oh, doing country. And I said, do you get much work doing country? Oh, yes, there's a country circuit. And I thought, I'd never even heard of it. I said, a country circuit? Yeah, all right. There's loads of clubs and all they do, and they're all over. And I said, oh, I must have a go at that. So I found out where the nearest one was, which, funny enough, was the Broken Wheel in Heselden.
Right.
So I went down, had a look. In those days, the Broken Wheel was full.
Yeah.
Full. And there was an actor, I can't remember who it was. I had a listen. I said, oh, that's gone. So I went there for about a month, just...
Insinuating yourself.
Yeah. Listen to sing or do. And I thought, right, well, I could do that. So I was down in Blackpool, doing the normal cabaret stuff. And we're walking around Blackpool, and I seen this shop selling country and western gear. And I said to my daughter, I said, well, let's have a look in here, because they had Stetsons and boots and all kind. Went in. And I went in, and the bloke behind the thing, he says, are you, never seen you before? And I said, oh, no, I'm singing. I said, I'm at the club. Oh, he said, have you ever thought, why don't you do the competition? And I thought, what competition is that? Oh, I said, the whole of the competition in the saloon bar in Blackpool. It's a country and western competition, So I said, I don't know any country songs apart from Silly Whitman songs I did years earlier.
Yodeling again.
Yeah. So he said, well, I've got all the forms, and all he needed was 5 songs. So I said, right. I said, when's this? And the competition was starting something like 4 weeks down the road, further along. And I thought, right, well, I'll learn these 5 songs. I learned 5 songs. I went down, and then I won the heat, which surprised me. Everyone was shocked, you know. They said, who's this bloke? He's just, you know. So I won the heat, and then they had then you had 8 heats. And for enough, the money, I tell you what, I got £150. If you won the heat, you got 150 quid.
And when was this? The 150?
Oh, you're talking 1980.
So £150 was a big prize then.
Oh, yeah, £150. So I said, oh, and I won it. I thought, oh, that's great. So right, I said, now, so I was in the semi-final. If you won the semi-final, you got, I think it was 300 quid.
A good prize again. And,
yeah. So I went down, got into the semi-final, and I came 4th.
Right.
Yeah, but I still got 150 quid.
So you're not bad at all.
See, and I'm quite happy with this, you know.
Surprised you only came 4th, like.
Well, I know.
Must have been a fix. Yeah.
Must have been a fix.
Yeah, fix, yeah.
So anyway, the first 4...
Did they not know you sang with Burt Bacharach?
No. The first 4 actually got into the final.
Right.
So that meant I got into the final, and then I won the final, didn't I?
Ah, well, there we go. Justice has been restored.
Picked up a nice cheque for £1,000 at the time.
Ooh,
which
lovely.
was very nice. And that's when my career started off doing country.
Excellent. Right. Well, that's brilliant, because that neatly brings us into my questions now, because that was just the warm-up we've just done there for the last 35 minutes.
Yeah.
No, it's absolutely fascinating. Thank you again, Jim, for taking the time with us.
It's been great.
On the questions, in your own words, describe your current show or shows.
My own well, it's what I consider to be traditional country music.
Yeah.
You know, which suits me. I love the songs. I love the lyrics. I write my own songs. So currently I'm doing about up to 10 of my own songs in my show.
Wonderful.
That's what I'm doing, but it's just pure. I just look pure. Sadly, it's drifting away from the traditional country music scene now. It's getting taken over by what I would consider country rock. I like some of the stuff. Some's great, but because of my age, I was brought up on original country music, you know, and that's it.
I suppose like everything, there are trends, aren't there?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent stuff indeed.
Yeah.
So you're doing a traditional country show with original material as well, and
yes, yeah.
Well, I mean, because that's quite unusual as well to find that on the light entertainment circuit, the original material.
Yeah, I know it's you couldn't get it because now you've got what you call a line dance circuit, so you couldn't do original stuff on the line dance circuit because they just want to hear the songs they hear all the time.
I suppose it's the stuff they've learned, isn't it? They want to do this,
yeah.
And I understand. It's the same as the cabaret circuit. There's a bit of a tendency to like the same material over and over.
That's
again.
right. Yeah, that's what happens.
Well,
but
they love me.
But with traditional country music, you tend to because they're listening. They're more of a listening audience.
Yeah.
So you can do a original song and then listen. If you like the song, the lyrics, all well and good.
That's great.
And up to now, my little stuff's going down very well, you know.
Oh, well, absolutely. Good.
That's what I love to do, you know.
So, right, the next question.
Go on.
Tell me about your last gig or run of gigs.
Well, I don't get a run of gigs now because obviously for my kind of country, there isn't night after night after night
Quality
after night.
over quantity, yeah?
Yeah, that's it, yeah. So I would say, ask that question again.
Tell me about your last gig.
Oh, the last gig?
Yeah.
The last gig, it's not very often, you see. The last gig was the Hartlepool Workmen's Club.
Oh, yes, I know it.
You know it?
We know it.
Known as King Aussie Club.
The King Aussie Club.
Yeah, and I was there on Monday. Had a wonderful night. It's one of those clubs that's got everything because it's an easy lifting, right? It's a lovely big stage. It's a great big club, great big floor, and there's a group all lovely ladies, man. They're all, I call them girls because at my age, you know, I can call them girls.
That and you're a bit of a charmer as well.
Yeah, yes.
Let's be
Oh,
fair.
well, that's my natural.
Yeah.
Because I'm good looking, so that I've got the win straight away. Anyway.
And modest with it as well. That's it.
Yes, I'm better.
Can I tell you a story about King Aussie Club? Actually,
Yeah, go on.
So I went to see another act at King Aussie Club, but because I was cheating on you, I went to see another act.
Yes.
A guy called Jet Taylor, who was gigging at the King Aussie Club.
Oh, he's baldy bloke, isn't he?
Yeah,
He has a baldy head.
Good singer. He's not very tall.
Jim Clarke would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incidentally, Mark Sylvester's stage name is Jet Taylor.
Can't say nothing.
And I was riding the motorbike at the time.
Yes.
Pulled
In
up,
the club?
Right, I was thinking about it, doing a bit of
Yeah,
meatloaf on the stage.
yeah.
And I pulled up and I had my Brandon leather jacket on, the Marlon Brando thing. And looking very
Well,
suave.
you do look a bit like Marlon Brando.
Yeah, in the dark, maybe.
No, as he is now. I don't mean like when he,
Yeah, dead.
don't when
Yeah.
he was young.
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Jim.
yeah.
I'm really pleased we got you on. And I went in and the guy on the door looked me up and down and said, "Can I help you?" I'm like, "I'm here to see the singer." And they're like, "Wait, what do you think's on?" I said, "Well, it's punk night, innit? I've got punk on. Punk, I like punk." And they're like, "No, it's country." I'm like, "Oh, I'll be all right. I danced anything, me." And this guy was getting really stressed out.
Yeah.
Until I said, "No, it's okay. I actually know the singer in question. He's a friend of mine." Yeah. So they thought I was about to turn up with a big gang of Hell's Angels, and it's going to be like the Black Widows riding in into the King Aussie Club. Sorry. Anyway, Jim. So you had a good night at King Aussie yourself.
Yeah, wonderful night. Yeah,
of course. Yeah.
All the girls, they're lovely girls.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's about 12 of them, maybe 14, and they dance to anything.
Yeah.
They're all good dancers.
The bingo as well.
Yeah, the good bingo players and all.
They dance the bingo.
Oh, yeah.
Just when they win.
Oh, lovely. Oh, good stuff indeed. Right, so this is a good one, and I'm expecting a good answer off you for this one, Jim.
Go on.
Tell me about the best or most notable gig you've done, in your opinion.
The most notable gig?
Thing that sticks out the most, one of your favourite memories of gigging.
Well, I have to say, the Cavern. Obviously, the Cavern it's got to be...
The Cavern Club, yes.
Has to be number one.
Would you mind telling us about the gig at the Cavern, please? A bit more detail about how it was, and because there'd be a lot of people really interested in that. Because
the Cavern. Yeah, well, don't get me talking. I mean, I did it, 62, 63, or 63, 64, 65. Yeah. And it was just a great event, but the sound was fantastic. I mean, you didn't sell alcohol, it was all soft drinks, you know.
You used to go up the road to the Grapes, wasn't it?
You go over the road to the Grapes, have a few drinks in there. And that's where I've got a wall on the wall. I've got 2 bricks on the wall with my name on.
You have indeed?
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I feel quite proud about.
I should think you are as well. Underneath Adele, the dimensions are in fact...
You wrote it on felt tip?
Hey?
Did you write it in felt tip?
Yeah.
Jim Clarke was here.
Yeah. The only thing, when it rains, you've got to keep going back again and doing it again.
It's a heck of a trip back to Liverpool. Yes, if you do happen to be passing the new Cavern Club, if you look on the wall, the dimensions, which is I know I'm pronouncing it a bit like
dimensions.
The dimensions. Yeah. The brick is next to just underneath and to the left of Adele's brick. So if you've heard of Adele, well,
down there,
the dimensions are holding her up.
Yeah. Have you been down there?
I have, yes.
I never seen the brick, have you?
I have. I've got a picture of my youngest stood next to it, and I was like, "Daddy knows that man."
Yeah. Would you like to touch me?
I'd better not. I mean, we do have video evidence. I don't want to end up in court.
Yes, okay.
So I hear you're touching old people now. Older people.
Let's the old way they touch it.
Sex appeal.
Sorry, I'm just gonna. I'm sorry to have to bring us back on track here. So obviously the Cavern Club.
Cavern. Had to be. Yeah, the Cavern's got to be.
And it always packed out, was it?
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, and of course when I worked with the orchestra in Gibraltar, that was wonderful. Because I did a 20-minute spot there with them. So it was superb.
Fantastic stuff. And is your name written on any walls in Gibraltar as well, or?
Toilet walls.
Go home.
Oh, harsh that much.
Yeah, go home.
Well, I was wondering how you can recapture them on some of the people you've worked with, even in the clubs, and they heard you like Roy Orbison,
Oh,
All the
aye,
people you work
yeah.
With all these big names.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
mean, I
dying
worked with
art now.
I worked with all those people. Hilda Baker, wonderful.
She said she worked with you, actually. So.
Did she? Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, she's lovely, Hilda. Well, she was, God now bless her. Max Wall.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening. Wall's the name. Comedy's the game. Yeah, very funny bloke.
That's what
Can I tell you? I'll tell it a true story.
Please do.
Yeah, we were working at the Solihull nightclub in Solihull. I was there for the week with Max Wall. And I always remember Ronnie Corporate was sitting in the audience because he was a big friend of Max Wall's, and he used to watch every night. And Max was, I think he would have been around then, he'd be maybe 60, something like that. And he come in, and he had this most gorgeous blonde you've ever seen. She's only looked about 19, 20, but she was gorgeous, right? And we're all thinking, must be his granddaughter or something like that, you know. Anyway, at the end
Bit
of the...
naive, aren't you?
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, and at the end, I always remember, at the end of the... Must have been maybe on the Friday, because we finished on the Saturday. And on the Friday, he come in, and he had a right huge black eye. Yeah, black. And I was remember saying, what's happened to your eye, Max? The bloody women. That bloody woman of mine accused me looking at other women, punched me in the eye. Max, and I thought, I wouldn't mind being punched in the eye by her, mine. Max Wall, yeah.
So wait till the next morning.
Yeah, and so Mark just mentioned you sort of have met Roy Orbison as well.
Yeah, I went with Roy Orbison, did a week with him. It was in Wakefield, I think it was, Wakefield.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And was there any other like big artists of that time period you worked with as well?
Oh, yeah, Dick Emery, Bob Monkhouse.
You worked with Billy Fury one time.
Eh?
Billy Fury, you know Billy Fury.
I went with Billy Fury up here in the northeast.
Right.
Funny enough,
Remember
yeah.
that lot, yeah.
Yeah, not long before he passed away, sadly. But
Yeah, I was just going to say we're losing you a little bit when you two are talking to each other.
oh
Would you,
yeah.
Would you mind talking to the mics, please?
Yeah, okay.
We're just losing you a little bit.
It's getting casual, you see.
I didn't mean to tell you off. Don't please. I'm not telling you off. Just
Casual
would you mind talking into the mic, please?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and of course, I can tell a story about it. Remember Charles Hawtrey,
do I remember Charles Hawtrey?
the Carry On team?
Oh, right. Yes, of course. Yeah.
The little skin with the glasses?
Yeah.
Well, he was over at the Syndicate, the Stars, over in South Africa.
I know him from the Smiths album cover more so, if I'm honest.
He on there, is he?
He is, yeah.
Well, he came into the club, and he was doing he was doing a play over there, would you believe, where he never spoke a word.
Right.
All he did, he played a dead person lying in a coffin. That's all. Because of who he was,
Yeah.
the name, they had him in the show, just lying
In the programme.
yeah, just lying in the coffin, you see.
Dead body.
Yeah. And he should come in, every night. And Julie Dawn, right, or Julie Fontaine, as you know now, Julie, I'd met him many times before, I'd worked with him, and I'd never met him. And she said, oh, this is Charles. Because you couldn't call him, you had to call him Charles, you know.
I see.
And so we met, we used to go in for a drink, and he used to drink port.
Right.
And this particular night, he got a little bit palatic on the port. So Julie and I had to put him in bed. We took him up to his room, undressed him, put his pyjamas on, and put him into bed.
Was it the same pyjamas he's always wearing in Carry On Hospital and stuff?
It could be,
Yeah.
it could be that.
Blue stripey one.
Blue stripe, yeah. And there's another true story. That happened, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so I can tell you some stories.
Oh yeah, well, hopefully there's a couple more to come. I'm going to come back to that as well.
Yeah.
So we've spoken about your best and most notable gig.
Yeah.
Now, can we get on to the juicy stuff? What's the worst gig you've done?
The worst gig.
As in, have you ever feared for your life at a gig, or have you ever had
well,
a really uncomfortable one? Or
I've got to be honest. There's one I think going back is in South Wales, Merthyr Tydfil, I think it was in. that was a bit.
I've worked in Merthyr
It was a big hard. It was hard work, that particular night. But that's what I'd say. But otherwise, I think I've been very lucky.
Well, you know,
I've been very lucky. You know, been very lucky audience-wise.
that's fantastic.
But that's the only one I can think of.
Remember the one you told me a story about when you worked in Glasgow when it was still a bit segregated. You went to the Rangers club and that guy was on there trying to sing the Catholic song. They chuck him in all his game in the river. And that story you told me.
That was now that's a
Oh,
story.
right.
Oh,
Go on then, please. Please do.
I'm glad you remind me there, Mark. Now I was doing this one I was solo act on my own, and I was doing this. It was the Glasgow Rangers football club. Actually, it was in the grounds itself, and I was on with the singer who had a hit. I'm telling what his name was now, but they call him Dennis Lurch Martin.
I know of this guy. He did the clubs as well in North East, if I remember correctly.
Oh, going back a year.
My father told me about, and he used to sit on the chair the wrong way round with his knees. Yeah,
that's Dennis. Yeah,
isn't that amazing? They say, obviously he was pretty well.
Yeah,
very tall, freakishly tall, apparently.
He actually had a hit record, you know.
Right.
I can't think what it was. Yeah, and he was, of course, with the Glasgow Rangers club. So you imagine it was 4 big, massive room. It's like a big nightclub.
Yeah.
And it was all like working with the rhythm musicians, you know. And he wanted to sing. He wanted to finish his show off with "I'll Take You Home Again, Kathleen," which you just didn't sing in a Protestant club.
I see.
Right? You know, it wasn't known.
Yeah.
So he said, nobody tells Dennis Lurch Martin what to sing and what not to sing. I'm going to sing what I want to sing. So he gets on his chair a long way round, he's singing a song, "I'll Take You Home Again, Kathleen." And of course there was boos and screams and shouting and some naughty language was coming out. And then when we came out, they were waiting for him outside.
Yeah.
And he got his PA and he threw his PA and him over this wall into the stream.
Wow. Rule number 1. Don't do religious songs.
Oh,
Rule number 2, don't do football songs.
In Glasgow and all the 70s.
Rule number 3, don't do religious football songs.
No.
In the 80s and the 70s as well.
Cool. Oh, dear me, excellent stuff. So, right, okay. You've probably met most of the people on most other people's wish lists who they like to meet. But if you could meet any musician or group, living or dead, who would you like most to meet at this point?
To meet? I think I would love to meet Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
I'd love to meet him, yeah.
And he's still going.
Yeah. I admire him so much because he's still...
And here he is, ladies and gentlemen. He doesn't want to talk, but he's in the room.
He's older than you, aren't you?
But Willie, I think Willie's about 85, 86 now.
5 years.
But I admire him, I think, well, he's still going at his age.
And he's cool as.
He's cool, yeah. And I just think, as he's got older, I like his voice better than when he was younger. Okay. You know, and he's recording some great songs, which I do a lot of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to meet Willie.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, we'll try and set that up for you.
The great Willie Nelson, yeah.
We'll make some calls.
Yes, yeah.
You never know, he might be listening. I'll send a link to this on Twitter and see what he does.
Yeah.
He'll probably ignore us. Or he's probably busy.
Yes,
what time is it in the States? 4:20 in the States, isn't it? Okay. Now, this is the odd question. Now, I feel a bit embarrassed asking you this question because of somebody with your immense stature.
Yeah.
But I asked Mark, and he seemed all right with it. Right, so if you were abducted by aliens, and the only way you could avoid being painfully probed was to perform your best song, what would that song be? And if you couldn't do that one, what would be your second choice?
I think it would have to be... I think it would have to be "Wine to Water," followed by my own song, "Till I See You Again."
Okay. You're going to risk being probed with...
Yes,
right?
yeah.
It must be a good one.
Yeah. And a third one, thirdly, it would have to be the song that I wrote with Paul, but the Alzheimer's song. She don't know me like she used to.
Yeah.
With who?
Yeah, I feel...
Don't do any memory jokes about Alzheimer's, Mark.
Yeah.
Who else did you write that with? He's calling me. I've got Alzheimer's. Me, you wrote most of it.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I feel quite proud of those 2 songs.
It was actually Jim, myself, and Paul. 3 was in it.
Yeah?
Me, you, and Paul did it, didn't we?
Mm.
Yeah.
Excellent. I mean, I only wanted 2, but I mean, 3's cool. I mean, you make your own rules. You're the
And
guest.
of course, our young friend here, Marcus
Sylvester.
Marcus Taylor. Sounds very exotic. I think you joined with a few words and things, didn't you? If I remember rightly?
Yeah. Right.
Oh,
One
hey.
or 2.
Huh?
1 or 2.
He's gone shy. Look at him. He's gone shy.
He's
Lovely.
gone shy. Look, he's gone shy.
Just a bit.
I'm in the presence of royalty.
He's gone red.
Sorry, Your Majesty.
I'm not that important.
I think he's having the flush.
I'm just a page.
He's the tea boy today. Bless him. What a lovely man.
Hint,
Lovely.
hint.
Right. Okay. Moving on.
Yeah.
Swiftly. Well, not that swiftly. Right. We're 53 minutes in, Jim. By the way.
Yes. Okay.
And you're doing really well.
Yes.
There's
okay.
not many left. We're okay.
Part 1 and part 2.
No, I'm not splitting it up. No, I have to cut most of this anyway because of all of the stupid jokes I've been making. So, where's the most luxurious place you've ever had to get ready in? Dressing room wise.
Oh, let me think.
That's what. See, that's important to us vocalists and performers. We like a good dressing room, don't we?
Yeah, it's very nice. Well, it's definitely not in the northeast.
Well, yes.
No.
Well, there is a part 2 to this question we'll get to.
I'm just trying to think now, and it definitely wasn't in the cabin.
No.
No.
What were the change facilities in the cabin like? Non-existent or?
It was just a hook on the wall,
Yeah.
and just water was running down the wall, so they keep it away from the walls so it stays and dry. No, just thinking, where would it be? It'd be a nightclub somewhere. Just trying to think, where would it be? I've done some, well, I did a nice show in South Africa was nice. That was a nice change, But I did an actual show there run by the Jewish organisation. And they used to do a show once a year over there, all for charity.
Yeah.
And they took the whole floor of the hotel, this big, I can't remember the hotel now, big posh hotel, and they took the whole floor for the show. And I remember doing a show there, and that was quite posh.
Very nice.
Yeah, that was very nice, yeah.
Oh, excellent. And what about the worst place you've ever had to get changed? Obviously, we've just mentioned the cavern. What's the
worst place?
Yeah.
Well, I've changed on a field.
Right, that would count, I imagine, as the worst place.
I've changed on a field when we've done a country festival.
Dropping your kecks and...
Yeah.
Did people see you while you were doing that?
Not really, no.
No, that's all right.
Well, they wouldn't have done it, but I kept running outside.
Yeah. Woo, look at me.
Yeah.
Okay, so imagine you're on stage,
Yes.
doing your fabulous show as you are.
Yeah.
Somebody comes up and they ask for the weirdest song ever. Now, has this ever happened to you? Has somebody come up and asked for a really strange song request?
Yes, they've asked me to do a song that was a big hit for a woman. And I thought, I'm sorry, I can't do that one,
Yeah, it sounds like the Tina Turner request that we all get.
Aye. But I can't think what the song was now, but I thought, that's an out-out girl song. I couldn't do that one.
And did they respond happily with that, or did they pull a face and sulk?
Well, he pulled a face.
Yeah.
Had a couple of little short, nasty, naughty words.
Yeah.
Which obviously I cannot use now, of course.
Well, you can, Jim. I mean, we do have an explicit tag just in case of sexual content.
And a bleep machine.
Yeah, I can always bleep stuff as well.
You don't believe it.
But that's fine.
No, that's it. No.
You've painted a nice enough picture there. We've all performers have had that conversation.
Yes.
So on the similar sort of vein, what's the strangest thing anybody's ever said to you at a venue? Something that made you think, what?
Well, people said, "Why are you here?"
That's a bit philosophical, isn't it?
People said,
Why is anyone here?
But why are you here? What are you going to do now? And I said, "Well, I'm a singer." Oh.
They always seem to say.
So you go, and that's what they said. Yeah, what about? I can't remember what it was. But
When
it was
you-
up
when
in the
you walk-
northeast.
You walk in with a pair of speakers and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
set up on a stage.
Yeah.
And you do a sound check. You do 1, 2, 1, 2.
Yeah.
You might sing a bit of a
Yeah.
song.
And then say, why you here? Yeah.
Yeah. Someone goes, "Are you the singer?" That's
Yeah.
my favourite one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you another just a quick interesting story you told me years ago was when you
Hey.
first started making your own backing tracks up, and then probably in the 70s you were using backing tracks and singing along with backing tracks. Everybody does it now; it's second nature. But you started very early in the 70s, didn't you? Using backing tracks and singing with them.
Yeah, I think I was one of the first to use backing tracks. Right. We actually went to, AIR.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in and we had, I don't remember, Ken Shaw.
Yes.
Ken, it was a lovely art. Ken Shaw, we got some of the lads from AIR. And I went in, I had a great big Revox reel-to-reel.
Yeah.
And I got all my tracks put down on this reel-to-reel. And I spliced them all, so it just ended at the end, and that was it.
Did it stretch over time?
No, it didn't, funny enough, no.
That's all right.
No, it didn't.
I just had visions of you having all your songs just getting
Oh,
longer,
yeah.
longer and longer and longer as
yeah.
the years went by.
No, it didn't. But it did. It did cause a little bit upset with some of the musicians.
I see why.
I can say, I understand. And then it started to boot me out as a speciality act.
I see.
See?
Well, but then I suppose, financially speaking, it makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
Similar sort of result for
Yeah.
quite a lot. I mean, obviously, I'm all for live music. We all are.
Yeah.
But
Well, I've heard people say that Jim was, or Clark James at the time that you called, was one of the first people to come out and use backing tracks. I thought it was quite amazing in the 70s. I've heard in a video there.
amazing. Yeah, see?
The first one,
Innovation.
the first one to use backing tracks was Emil Ford.
Is that right?
Yeah. Do you remember Emil Ford?
No, I can't.
What do you
Jim.
want to make those eyes
I'm-
at me for?
What do you
Jim,
want
Jim,
to make
I'm-
those eyes at me
Oh, right.
for?
Jim, I'm going to have to... I don't know how old you think I am, but I was actually born in 1979. So
Yeah.
I am missing a few of the references. I'm sure
but-
some of the listeners will get it, and so will Mark. But
Yeah, but I think you had,
so
you had
I-
a hard paper round there, didn't you?
That's very... Thank you, Jim. So, I mean...
It was 40 last week.
That's really...
He had a hard-
Thanks for that as well. You do realise that I actually have editing power on this, so I can make myself look really, really good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
Oh, you mean
Better, I should
looking
say.
like? I cannot see how you make yourself any better. Looking any better.
Thank you again for coming on, ladies and gentlemen, Jim Clarke. Okay, that was pretty much the main gist of the stories.
Yes.
We've now hit an hour, so was there one final story, something that comes to mind you'd like to leave us with, like an anecdote or something along the lines of perhaps when you worked with somebody famous or, something else that's notable, that sticks out?
I'm just trying to think of something that would be...
Would you tell us that one you told me about when you went to Scotland when they thought you were doing a publicity stunt like the Beatles did because everybody was getting famous? Remember that story you told me? When you hired the van and hired the PA equipment and you get all high purchase. You went to Glasgow and somebody stole it all.
Oh, yeah,
They thought it was a publicity
that's a story.
stunt.
Now, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, that was... that's when we were the Dimensions. And at that time, I just finished work. I stopped because I thought I want to be a professional singer, blah blah. So I finished work, and what we done, we all went. We were all working, so we all packed our jobs in, went to I think it was Rushworth and Draper's in Liverpool. I think it was Rushworth, and we all bought all our equipment: drums, guitars, amps, all on HP.
Yeah.
Right, and we had our first tour. We finished work on a Friday, went to Rushworth, picked all this equipment up that we'd ordered like weeks before, and then we drove up to Glasgow for our first tour in Scotland. And I think we were doing the Maryland Club in Glasgow, which was a tough place,
Yeah.
And we went here and we parked the van on the public car park. We come out, we'd done the gig, and we thought, right, so we parked the van. We had everything what we had with our suitcases, your toothpaste, and everything was all in the van. And we went into this little cafe. It was on Sucky Street, and we got coffee tonight. We got chatting to the girls, you know, like groups do in your own bands, chatting to the girls working there. And then when we come out, the van had gone. Yeah. So all we were left with was what we had on. We had no nothing, just what you wore. So what we're going to do now? So anyway, we went to the police, and the police at that time thought that we had deliberately hidden the gear in the van just for the publicity.
I see.
Right? Which, of course, we didn't.
No.
And we thought, what are we going to do now? So we said, look, he said, can we go home? No, you can't go home until we get this sorted out. So we had to stay there for a week. So luckily, we'd been chatting to some of these girls in this cafe, and she said, well, hang on, I'll ring my mother up, in a Scottish accent, of course.
Would you mind doing that for us, Mark?
I'll ring my mum up.
Yeah, I'll ring yeah.
Hold on, I'll ring my mum.
But we can make it more feminine.
Hang on, I'll ring my mum.
That's it, yeah. And so she rang her mum and told him. So she said, well, tell them to come down there. And she put us up.
Oh, that's lovely.
For the week, yeah. And I thought, well, lovely that, you know.
Yeah.
She put us up for the week.
Yeah.
And then eventually our van was found, I think it was about 12 miles outside of Glasgow, Kirkentulloch.
Right.
That's where the van was found, you know. And then the police, eventually, they let us come home.
I see.
But it was all major headline in all the newspapers. Remember the News of the World? And,
I remember.
And all them, it was all headlines, you know. Liverpool group, you know, equipment was all stolen. But the lot was we have nothing. And bear in mind, we never even made a payment on the equipment.
Oh, and you never got to play with it?
No.
That's crazy. Did any of it get ever recovered or?
No, that's all. So that was our first week turning pro.
Fantastic.
So two of the lads said, I've had enough, and this, and they packed in. But the guitarist Les and I said, no, we're true show people, we're going to carry on sticking out, and which we did.
So you went out as an acoustic a cappella group?
Yeah, we could have done, yeah. Could have done.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to say a massive thank you to our wonderful guest, Mr Jim Clarke. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure.
Been absolutely delightful. Thank you for sharing those stories with us. It's been absolutely fascinating, and I'm sure everyone will agree. And, of course, our gracious host, Mr Mark Sylvester. Thank you again, Mark.
Thank you, sir.
I've been Chris Atkins, and that was another episode of The Secrets of the Dressing Cupboard podcast, even. So a round of applause, please, for Jim as we fade ourselves out. Thank you very much indeed, and goodbye.
Thank you.